Do you feel that Eminem is a guest at hip hop?
I think all white people are a guest in the house of hip hop, including myself. I remember there's an old interview that someone sent me that I did when I was at, Vlad TV was at Universal Records, before I even really started fucking with Jamar, where I said I feel like a guest in hip hop, and I am grateful every morning that
I'm not talking about you right now. I'm talking about Eminem. So you feel like Eminem is a guest at hip hop?
100%. Because when Eminem started rapping, it was still a 99 predominant black art form. I mean, the originator is always going to be black, but back then there was really no white rappers. There was like Third Base and Beastie Boys, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Like, he came in as an outsider, learned the craft, and got accepted by the black community and co-signed by Dr. Dre, and that was why he was able to get to the heights that he got. Now, you see someone like a Kid Rock who tried to be a guest in the house of hip hop and was never accepted, so he went and started doing rock music. Mm-hmm. See what I'm saying? Not all guests are allowed to stay. Kid Rock was not allowed to stay. Eminem was.
All right, so let me ask you a question. If a person, I don't know, I know Eminem, I don't think he grew up in a black environment.
No, he grew up in like a trailer home.
All right,
trailer park.
So what if a white person or Asian person, whatever other than black, right? All right, let me ask you a question. Are Latinos guests in hip hop?
In hip hop? Yeah.
But, why? What's why?
Okay, sorry.
Why?
Sorry. I was see, I'm from the West Coast. I was thinking Mexicans.
Right.
I forgot that in New
York,
New York was Puerto Ricans also. So I'm going to take that back.
Started in the Bronx.
You're right. Because I'm thinking from a West Coast mindset. I remember when the first Mexican rappers like Kid Frost and so forth started rapping. You know what I mean? Lighter shade of brown. So I was thinking Mexicans, but then as I'm saying it, I realized, wait a minute, I forgot about Puerto Ricans, and Puerto Ricans were part of the actual founding.
Part of it.
Yeah. Right. So I'm going to take that back.
Yeah. All right.
Because they are not, because they're one of the founding.
They were there.
They were there.
They're right there. Right there. So the Puerto Ricans, the Latinos,
Dominicans.
Yeah. All in New York City, because hip hop was founded in New York City. So I feel like. This is how I take it, right? If somebody is born, like if they grew up in, I don't care what complexion you are, if a kid grew up in the Bronx, right, in Webster Projects, born and raised in that projects, right? They grew up when they first learned like how to speak, there was hip hop playing, right? Their parents listen to hip hop.
Right.
Hip hop outside, hip hop all around them. Mm-hmm. Are they against the hip
hop? Becomes gray area. I can see your point. I can see why the answer would be no. Me personally, I grew up in the suburbs. I mean, I lived in the projects when my parents first came to this country, but a lot of my time was in the suburbs, and I adopted it on my own based on my own interests and so forth. I did not grow up in a hip hop environment. I had to go find it and fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And then,
so that makes you a guest.
That makes me a guest.
Yeah, all right.
And here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with saying you're a guest. Like, you have to retain a level of humbleness in what you do in life.
No, definitely.
Like you can't just sit there and just say like, I'm a 100% entitled because of X, Y, and Z. Like a lot of people came before you and sacrificed a lot to allow you to do what it is that you do.
Definitely.
The word guest does not have a negative connotation unless you want to make it negative.
No,
out of your own ego.
I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
I agree. But what I'm just trying to say is I don't feel like skin complexion makes you a guest or not, right? I don't feel like that. I don't, because hip hop is a culture, right? Hip hop and culture is what? Culture is what's around us. Culture is what we're brought up in. So like if you were to grow up in China, right? Born and raised in China, right? You're being Russian, right? And you're born and raised in China. You know how to speak everything. All you know is China. You're Chinese.
Yeah, 100%.
Your culture is Chinese.
100%.
Right? So if I was born, and I'm not saying I'm a guest or not, I'm just saying that what determines you as a guest in hip hop is not your skin complexion. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you want to put it like that, then everybody, then every other state, city is a guest to hip hop outside of New York. Because it was created in New York. So if there were Latin people there, if there were Chinese, you don't know who was there. There might have been a Chinese person there. There might have been anybody in that area that grew up around it. That was their culture, right? That was what they grew up in, right? So I feel like skin complexion doesn't determine your role in hip hop, because there's a lot of people that are black, but they didn't grow up in hip hop, and they didn't, you know what I'm saying? So that doesn't make them more hip hop than somebody.
Right. You know, for example, if you have someone like a Carlton from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you know, who decides to be a rapper later on, he would be a guest in the House of Hip Hop.
Right.
Even though he's black, but he grew up around, you know, a different culture, different, you know, type of music, different environment, and then he chose later on to immerse himself into a different type of thing, then yeah, he would be a guest. Like I said, I have no problems with the whole guest term.
There is no problem being a guest. You know? I could be a guest. Like I don't have no problem with somebody saying I'm a guest.
Are you a guest in the House of Hip Hop?
I don't feel like it. You know what I mean?
Feel like
and
it?
I don't feel like I'm a guest, because for the simple fact that I've been doing it since I was a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wasn't born into it, so maybe that's why I wouldn't be like, if you were to say I was a guest, I wouldn't get all like, oh, no. It's like, all right, it's up to you. It's up to you, whatever you feel. But what I'm saying is I've been around it since I was a kid, since I was like 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
And like a lot of my life is based around hip hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, hip hop taught me so much as a kid. I learned so much through hip hop, so I feel like hip hop is a part of me, and I feel like I'm a part of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? But if somebody out there feels like that, I'm not gonna sit there and argue with you.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit there and, all right, I'm a guest then, whatever.
Right, because there's no actual measuring stick. It's just all opinions.
Right.
That's all it is.
But shout out to hip hop. Hip hop is a great thing. Shout out to hip hop. I mean, I think at the end of the day, to see hip hop branch out like this, to be all over the world, I mean, that's a great thing. When they started hip hop, I'm sure, you know, everybody was like, oh no, that's just gonna be a fad. But
I remember speaking to people in high school in the 80s, and they said it's going to be gone in a year or two. They seriously believe that. And now, for hip hop to be the largest genre in Russia, where I came from, you know, I interviewed Oxymoron.
Yeah, shout out to Oxymoron.
You know, who's one of the big Russian rappers. Is like, my head blew up. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Like, really? You know, and then now in China, it's becoming one of the, it's not the biggest, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
Another communist country, once again, head blew up. Like, it's fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing to see, you know, Korean kids run the breakdance scene, and, you know, go to Brazil and everyone is rapping and breakdancing, and, you know what I mean, like, doing their own spin on it, mixing it with their, like, you know, type of music is dope, and, you know, reggaeton and all that shit. I love it.